Welcome back for minute 20. I'm Brian,
I'm Wolf.
and this is X-Men. It's the podcast that goes and breaks down the longest running superhero franchise at the moment, time-wise, without a reboot, X-Men. And we are in minute 20 of the year 2000 film, X-Men. God, I gotta figure out a different way to say that. Just trying to differentiate it from the rest of the franchise since it doesn't have a subtitle or number. But, Wolf, what happened in this minute?
Yeah, so it's right after the crash. Logan gets up, and we start to, and he's like moving his neck around, getting everything back in place, and we can hear the
Ugh.
crunching. Yeah, you can hear the crunching of the neck bones, and his head gash is healing. And it's like Anna Paquin, when we see her facial expression, it's like, I'm not sure if she's like mesmerized by his
Okay.
healing or she's like, I'm about to die in a fire. So
Yes,
that's a
there's
pretty
there's
interesting.
definitely like some music cues kind of behind it, I believe. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's more on the if there is a side of this score, the magical side, at least in terms of my reaction. But I love that he's just like, yeah, that little pain on my forehead's going away. And he goes, "You all right?" But he has to say it twice because she's in shock. Kid, are you all right? I'm stuck. And now we've
Hmm.
established that. And as he starts to go over to get her, he sees the
Oh yeah.
tree has been ripped from its
Yeah.
bottom. But yeah,
Yeah. So it's like the tree perfectly snapped like that. Sort of gives away. It wasn't random. You know what I mean? It
yeah.
wasn't like
And
just.
this will sound bad, but it's
Hmm.
young wood.
Oh.
Like, you can see it's not rotting or
Yeah.
whatever. It looks like it's been torn.
Yeah. Like then he's like looking up in the trees. He starts to smell around. He smells whatever or whoever he smells might smell familiar. But we'll find out next time about that. But he
Yeah, he
smells
might not
something.
remember who, but
Yeah, but he knows that stink anywhere. I would imagine.
and fun
Let's see.
fact, it's not a fun movie at all. It's horrible. Don't go watch this movie. But Playing with Fire with John Cena and uh, what's the guy's name? Bunch of people you would recognize, but there's this one silent character in the film who's shaved bald, and I swear, until even after seeing the movie, up until the moment I had to tag people on Instagram, my Instagram review of it at Movies Are Dope, I thought it was Hugo Weaving,
Mm.
but it was this guy playing Sabretooth.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
this. It was this guy.
Yeah,
Oh
that
wow.
that movie is a thankless movie for everyone involved, and it has so much talent that deserves so much better.
Hmm.
From movies like Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet,
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge, John Cena, who's going to be in F9, uh, Key from Key and Peele.
Hmm.
Just I'm blanking. The Negasonic Teenage Warhead from the Deadpool movies. She's in it.
Oh
She
yeah.
does good, but that movie is just you just watch any clip and you're just like, you asked them to do that. They're so
Wait.
much better
So
than that.
is Baz Luhrmann directing that film you're talking about or no?
No, no,
Oh
no, no, no,
no.
no.
Okay.
This is like
Okay.
John Cena's version of how Vin Diesel did the Past Fire and Dwayne Johnson did Tooth Fairy
Yeah.
before they actually
Oh, I
had
know
a
exactly what you're
successful
talking about.
good
Yeah, it
career.
was the
That's
the Goofy Fireman movie.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is that movie along that trajectory, except I've seen Tooth Fairy, and that's a decent kids movie. This
Hmm.
is horrendous. You just look at him and you're like, you had them do what? God, they must have felt so much shame. And you better tell me you paid them well, because all
Right.
these actors, it's just there were like 3 good scenes in the whole movie. Like I could count them as I was watching it. And, you know, I saw it with my daughter. I told her that was the worst movie I've ever seen. And she's like, and now, you know, of course she's like, no, it's the best movie.
Right.
But
it should win the Academy Award.
Yeah. And I don't even know what that is. But, sorry, I digress. After he sees the hint of the broken wood, he starts sniffing. We get that as a possible explanation of why he found her. Even though we get a thud and he gets his claw out. Rogue knows something's going on. He even looks in the direction of Sabretooth before he busts through the snow in a flurry. And I love that he throws him such good aim at the one tree standing there, away from all its tree buddies.
Just
and then
a lone
I meant
tree.
to ask you. Well, first he's knocked out, and Sabretooth bats him like a baseball, and he lands on the hood, and actually passes out because his claws go away. Do you think? What kind of gas do you think that is? Do you think that's propane? Maybe for some grilling, because the fire is getting around this tank in the back.
Yeah, I'd say it was propane. I mean, I don't know much about like natural gases or whatever, but that kind of tank, I've seen that at the hardware store, and you know we used to get them for our grill. So if I had to guess, I'd say it was propane.
Yeah.
Or liquid nitrogen. No.
I love how she's yanking on her seatbelt because, from what I can tell, well, one, it looks like, does she have her gloves back on? I can't tell. Probably not. No, it looks like there's some stitching. She has her gloves back on. I forgot if she put them back on, but it looks like there's also a button in the middle that she's not even trying to press.
Dude, that's the part I was talking about that upset me this entire time from the year 2000 until now. It's like in so many movies when someone is like, you know, in a car accident or something, instead of pressing the button, they just yank on the thing. And I'm just like, at least try to press it. I mean, like if they were to try to press the button and it wouldn't work, then I'd be like, oh crap, they're screwed.
Yeah.
But the first thing, that's just a pet peeve of mine.
No, I get it. And technically, I'm sure you could explain it away as in she's in shock. She's never had this seatbelt on.
Right.
You know, she's panicking. People make mistakes. But just, you know, as the directors of Captain America, Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame said they wanted to make Winter Soldier honest trailers proof.
Oh, yeah.
So, I get that. I've had that a lot through movies. I haven't had it with this one, specifically this thing, but I already mentioned later on him swinging around the Statue of Liberty's thing, like that not actually obeying the laws of physics. Like, I had that as a kid, so I get it.
Now, speaking of honest trailers proof, I think Screen Rant, I think they had the Russo brothers on like a segment of a show, and I think they mentioned that. Or it is Screen Rant that does the
Screen Rant
trailers,
or Screen
right?
Junkies?
Oh, Screen Junkies.
Yeah.
I think.
they did have them on later.
That and
also the writers, I believe.
Oh yeah. That's like I was surprised they even did it, but you know they're like really nice guys, so that's pretty cool of them.
Yeah, anyone who likes those directors for those 4 movies I mentioned, if you haven't already, they're not on it, but they were heavily involved in Community, and they said recently they'd be happy to come back and do the movie. But look up Community Table Read Zoom /with me or something, you know. The cast of Community came together and reunited to do a reading of a season 5 episode 5 script, and it was great. They got Pedro Pascal, who's the Mandalorian, and he's the bad guy in the upcoming Wonder Woman 1984, and he's also a character Agent Whiskey in Statesman, or Kingsman 2, The Golden Circle. He came on to read for Walton Goggins' part because he wasn't available, and it's just great. There's 3 videos of it. There's one script reading, then there's an extra Q&A, and then there's a video after all of that on the Darkest Timelines podcast. It's so fun. Check it out. That's a side tangent.
Wait, and you said the Russo brothers are a part of that?
They were a part of Community. Their biggest things that they were known for were like the pilot, I believe, and a lot of episodes of Arrested Development and Community. And it was Community and possibly Arrested Development that got the attention of like Kevin Feige to ask them if they'd be interested in the Winter Soldier. And at that point, the script was pretty far along, so they really liked it and they added to it.
What's crazy? What were you saying?
But yeah, they've been the number one people that have been asked if they'd come back for the Community movie, because 6 seasons in a movie, and if you don't understand that reference, once you watch the show, it'll be made clear. They're the
awesome.
people who were directing on that show that have most been asked if they'd come back and direct the movie.
Dude, that's dope. Like, a funny Russo Brothers story.
Listening, that was the oven being heated for my roommate.
Nice.
That wasn't in the episode. If you were wondering what that be, but did you have anything else? We'll be done in one. We're wrapping up really quick. Do you have anything else for this minute? My roommate really wants to make some food.
No, not for this minute. It was just a fun, funny story. I got a chance to work with the Russo brothers. And
you worked
Tom
with the Russo
Holland.
brothers?
Yeah, Russo brothers and Tom Holland. I was cast this past December,
in Cherry.
Yeah.
Right.
And
okay. Pause that story because this is something I don't want to rush. Go put in your food. Sorry. Oh my god, that has me so excited. All right, I'm gonna stop while there's background noise before we finish the story. All right. Okay, for anyone listening or watching, my roommate just put in a pizza and I didn't want to rush this next part. He did respond to me talking about the Roadster story, saying that he always puts his seatbelt on before he goes fast, so he will survive if I get him a Roadster, which is like a 1 in a million chance of me ever having that kind of money. But, oh my god, you're in a Russo brothers movie with Tom Holland and Cherry? Yeah. I hate you and I love you and God.
Yeah, so please what tell happened? The story. Well, it's not really too spectacular. Like my agent or whatever sends me all this bullshit all the time, and I always read for stuff, and then I get like commercials, or I get independent films, or I get like, non-speaking roles and stuff like that. And she's like, yeah, read for this. And it was like, there was no title to the script, and it was just like a little piece of it. So I read for it, and it was a drill sergeant, and I was like, yeah. So I did my best, and like 3 weeks went by, and they were like, they don't want you for a drill sergeant, they want you for like an owner of a shoe store. And I had no idea what movie this was. I thought it was some bullshit like independent film in Detroit or something. And so they were like, okay, you got it. And then it was one line. So I was like, oh, okay, how much are they paying me? And then she told me the number. I'm like, for one line, I'm getting paid that much? So then
Do you want to say how much you got paid?
I don't, but...
Flex? Okay.
No,
will you tell me privately, just so my jock can
it wasn't that much, but for one line, I will tell you, for one line, it was a little over. And so yeah, what happened was like 2 weeks go by, and then I look up the movie because they gave me the name, and I was like, there's no way this is it. So I did more and more research, and I'm like, oh, that's it. So another month goes by. I get to Cleveland. I get into my hotel. I get my fitting and everything. And then I didn't go to sleep the night before because I was so nervous. And then
I was gonna say, I wouldn't have looked it up because I would totally crack under that pressure knowing that.
Dude, it was crazy. So then I go at 5 a.m. I had to get my tattoos covered up because my artist he didn't sign the release form in time. So yeah, I get in the trailer and I see all these like headshots of the actors that were in there before me, and like I didn't realize John Mulaney's in it. Like there's so many.
John Mulaney's in
Uh,
it?
yeah, Pooch Hall, like just a lot of actors are in this film. So then we get to set, and it is like, and I can't really say anything about what the set looks like or anything, but it was pretty friggin' cool. So then, like, I get in there, and my contact, she brings me in, and she's introducing me to everybody, just the entire crew. And like, there's this guy, he's like sitting on an iPad, like he's like on his iPad, and he's sitting in the corner, and then we walk up to him, and it's Anthony. No, no,
Huh?
it was Anthony, and he was like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm Wolf." And then Joe walks in, and I shook his hand, and then they just gave me the rundown, and they were the some of the most friendly people that I've ever met. And then so we were
Oh, they
waiting for
sound
Tom to
like
get
it.
there. Yeah, we were waiting for Tom to get there because Tom, I don't think Tom was staying. I don't think Tom got his makeup on at base camp. I'm not sure, but Tom finally showed up, and Tom was really nice, and we got into costume, and they were like, we're gonna run this scene a couple times, and then we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna do about 40 takes. So me
Dude,
and
I've just
Tom,
been going through the IMDb as you've been talking, looking like every shot. Like, there's been some, no offense to anyone else, but there's been some people who are African American, but the photo is like wide and you can't see him. So I'm like, wait, it doesn't say Wolf, but is that him? No, it's
no.
not.
So
And
yeah, so
I see your picture clear as day. It looks
oh, you
exactly
do
like
it.
your
Okay.
profile picture.
Yeah.
Are
So
you shoe store boss?
yes.
Nice, because I
So
went back past someone who was like a sergeant or something in the military. I was like, nope.
yeah, like I think I originally auditioned for I forget which drill sergeant, but I mean, it's yeah, it was pretty. I still can't believe that I was on the set with those people, but I mean, I was so nervous, but
I don't
it
blame
was
you.
a it
Was it
it was
Drill
a real.
Sergeant Deco?
I don't know exactly because when they send you the sides or the scene to audition for, like there's literally no information on anything. It's just like it's just the line and just the you know like the archetype like drill sergeant. So I had no so like they don't want anything to leak or anything like that.
That's
But I
amazing.
mean it was a fantastic experience. The Russo brothers were so friendly and patient, and and between each take, um, Joe would walk up and he would say instead of saying what's on the page, I want you to say it like this, but do it this way, or maybe walk up to him and then ignore him, or they were very patient, and they worked with me because they knew I'm not some like huge actor or whatever. And man, I mean, it was just fantastic. And I mean, because like
That's amazing.
you really don't know what to expect. Especially seeing people on TV all the time, you don't know what to expect. But Anthony and Joe and Tom, they were like, they felt like family. They were so friendly to me. Like it was
Ah,
awesome. But I mean, Matthew, I forget what the so is the he's the producer of of the newest Vin Diesel movie. Matthew Rhodes, I believe his name. Is it Matthew? I think it's Matthew
are you
Rhodes.
talking about uh, Bloodshot or
Bloodshot, yeah. So, the Hideaway Entertainment is what Matthew Rhodes owns, and let's see, where was I even going with that? Um, I can't even remember where I was going with it. It was probably about the casting process or
did
whatever.
you want to
But
do like another project with you or something?
no. It was nothing like that. But oh, I know where I was going. So there was a Q&A on Instagram Live, and so I asked a question about you know um, marketing independent films or something like that, but someone else, some like a complete stranger, asked about the release of the film, and he was just like, dude, due to whatever's going on in the world, we can't say, but hopefully we get to see it. And I mean, if you if you see me on camera and you blink, you might miss me because I'm only on camera for a second. But yeah,
Dude,
it
I
was
don't
a very
care.
fun experience.
I
Dude, like the
remember my daughter's like great uncle or something. He auditioned for a role in a very Harold and Kumar Christmas of this really
oh
tough guy who just came out of prison. And have you seen that film?
yeah, was it the wait? Was it the guy who was talking about the cock meat sandwich or whatever? Or no?
No, that may have been the second one. Well, I don't remember. No, no, no. It's the one with Danny Trejo and
Oh, okay.
the cousin or nephew or no, the cousin of like his soon-to-be wife or something just got out of prison, and my daughter's great uncle on her mother's side auditioned for that role, but to give you some context, like this guy was like cut from Danny Trejo cloth kind of thing. He has a
Oh,
broken foot, he's going around, but he's just someone for Harold to be scared of. And my daughter's great uncle is a very strong, flamboyant gay man with a lazy eye.
oh,
And uh, he's. This will come into. This will be important for later in the story, but he's not mentally challenged or
mm-hmm.
anything. Instead, they wrote another character for him whose whole thing is when you watch the movie, Danny Trejo's like, "Where are the Christmas decorations?" And he comes up and he goes, "I don't know, Dio, my eye's all fucked up." And that's his role. And what you see later in the film in that scene is him in the background like this. And if you're listening on audio, he's nursing his face and looking at Danny Trejo like, "What?" And so I saw the film with him and the guy who played that the character he auditioned for. They're both in Chicago, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
3D only film. And because he has the lazy eye, he couldn't use 3D glasses. So his big
Oh,
premiere, he's seeing the whole film fuzzy, which is a
oh my
bummer.
gosh.
But the reason why he's nursing his cheek in the background is because in the scene after he says that, Danny Trejo smacks him. So he got smacked by Danny Trejo,
Dude, I want to get
presumably
smacked
a
by
bunch of
Danny Trejo.
times, and got to talk to him and get advice about the business. Now, the reason I pointed out that he had a lazy eye earlier and that he's not mentally challenged is I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee some test audience was like, "You can't slap a mentally challenged guy on camera
Oh, yeah.
just because he does have the lazy eye," which hasn't stopped him. You
Right,
know,
yeah.
he's like
Heck yeah.
Tina Fey and her face cut.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
stopping him. And I'm like, oh, you guys probably had the the right idea. Your heart was in the right place. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not a deleted scene. It's nowhere to be found. We can never see my daughter's great uncle getting smacked by Danny Trejo.
Dang.
And dang if that's not a crime.
I know, right? Dude, I
I mean,
mean,
like, you
like,
know, I loved Glee, and there's a great character with Down syndrome who's a
mm-hmm.
cheerleader, and she's amazing. I never want to see her get smacked on Glee,
Oh,
for a
heck no.
story. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Our hearts are in the right place. Their hearts were in the right place, but given the whole context and the truth, oh,
Like,
but I
that
cannot.
is my new goal. I want to get slapped by Danny Trejo. Like, just, I want to go full method actor. I want to be like, Danny, please do not hold back. I don't care if we do 150 takes. You better get
Hey,
me, you know?
but now I'm so excited to see Cherry and see
Dude,
you.
you know, it's crazy.
Uh,
Like, I mean, I know nothing about the film outside of, what I did for those days or whatever. But, like, by the way they were talking about it, I'm like, this is gonna be a game changer, especially for, I mean, because like Tom Holland is a really good actor,
yeah.
and it's like in this role, you know what I kind of like. I mean, like I'm not like, I have no insider information or anything like that. But from what I hear in interviews, and so like the day after I was shooting that stuff, Tom was on Jimmy Kimmel or something like that, and he said it's about, heroin and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be sort of like a military version of like that show Euphoria, where it just dives right into
Ooh, I need to
substance
see
abuse.
Euphoria. I still haven't
Euphoria
been
is
able to.
dark. So
I need to
yeah.
find an HBO password. I've been looking for one
Yes.
for months. But, all right, so, yeah, Tom Holland is an amazing actor. The first film I ever
Hmm.
saw him in was The Impossible with
The
Ewan McGregor
Impossible.
and Naomi Watts.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Mwah.
was a while ago, yeah.
Mwah. Amazing
I
film.
didn't. You know what film I want to see? I want to see the one where him and Chris Hemsworth are on that boat or whatever. It's like you know what I'm talking about? Like it's like it takes place back in the day.
All right, just a second. All right, so we cut a little bit because my roommate got his pizza, and I looked it up. The movie you were talking about is In the Heart of the Sea,
In the Heart of the Sea. Yeah, I want to see that one. So yeah.
which was directed by Ron Howard. It does have Tom Holland and a bunch of other people
Hmm.
you noticed, but what else was I gonna say? That's amazing. Everything I know about Cherry is it's a film about the opioid crisis. The Russo brothers have been personally affected by it.
Hmm.
The opioid crisis leads people to go toward, just factually, go to heroin as a cheaper and more accessible option because they don't
Hmm.
need a doctor's note, and opioids are just so overpriced, and people get prescribed opioids when they don't need it. Like there, I forget which state there was, but at one time there were more opioid prescriptions than citizens in the state or
Oh wow.
civilians. And they wanted to make a really personal story, and they went to Tom after doing the Infinity War movies or the Avengers movies, and I'm just very excited. After Spies in Disguise, which looked garbage, and actually I think is a little better than Onward, which looked
Mm.
amazing. I'm surprised. Him and Tom Holland and Will Smith doing Spies in Disguise. I have faith in like stuff like Cherry, of course, because Joe and Anthony Russo are
Hmm.
involved, and then even Uncharted, the Uncharted prequel
Mm.
that he will be doing with Mark Wahlberg and Sony. Ironically, since Mark Wahlberg was going to play the title character of Uncharted at one point, but now he'll be
Wait, you mean
Sully.
like? Wait, you mean Nathan Drake Uncharted?
Tom Holland will be Nathan Drake. He
Oh
approached Sony
wow.
years ago with the idea of doing an Uncharted prequel since they kept starting and stopping doing the Uncharted movie with Mark Wahlberg as Nathan Drake. But now
Oh yeah.
now Mark Wahlberg is going to be Sully, I think.
Okay.
Is that the? I only played
So
Uncharted
yeah,
2 like years ago,
yeah. Sully is
and I love
the
it.
old gentleman. Yeah, that's dude. That's gonna be
And
fantastic.
yeah, that was his idea, and it was clever because then you're not beholden to the video games as much, and you
Hmm.
can be a little more creative with the story. But oh man, this has been a giant episode,
Yes,
and I love it. And oh my God, you're in a Joe and Anthony Russo movie. I'm so fucking
dude.
excited. This is
I still can't believe it to this day. I'm like, at night, I like, I'm just sitting there watching TV, and I'm like, I really got a chance to work with those guys, man. But yeah, I mean, I doubt they're ever gonna like. I mean, if they do listen to this or whatever, shout out to them. They were fantastic. And yeah, dude,
don't doubt
it
it.
was an incredible experience. I mean, the whole crew, they were just so warm and inviting, and it's just like it was fantastic. It really,
Yeah, we gotta
it kind
start
of
the
exceeded my expectations. Hmm.
we gotta start the hashtag along with 6 seasons and a movie and hashtag and a movie for the community movie. Hashtag Wolf Hogan in the movie because we need to get you into the community movie too. But that's so. And just to remind everybody, this whole podcast started because I went on a Facebook page that we're a part of called "You Can't Handle the Movie," and I really was just because I was planning the Bond and MCU podcast. I was like, I wanted to see if anyone would actually be interested in it, as a concept, and you added X-Men. And then I was just like, all right. I almost asked somebody else because they voted for it. I don't know if you voted for it, but you added it to the list, and I almost went to them and I was like, would you like to do it? I was like, wait. Oh, they didn't. This person didn't create it. Wolf did. Let me ask him. And you were just like, yeah, let's do this.
Right.
And now I know somebody in a Joe and Anthony Russo movie. I'm geeking out so much.
It's a awesome. Small world, you know?
Oh, just all the serendipity of this.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now every time, including this outro, I'm just going to be like, after you say Wolf Hogan, I'm going to be like, cast member of a Joe and Anthony Russo movie. acclaimed actor.
Right.
You gotta, when we see you in the movie, we gotta count how many words make it into the movie and then divide the money you made. Highest paid actor on this podcast, $300 a word. All right, cool beans. Thank you for sharing that. This is oversized, but I mean, I hope everyone understands why.
Heck yeah.
This has been Minute 20. I'm Brian.
I'm Wolf.
The acclaimed actor in a Joe and Anthony Russo movie. And Countdown to Buy Bald Head 1.